The story begins with a badass Messi in a futuristic world. We get sent into a Star Wars type of world where civilizations fight against each other for their planets. However, our MC is a hound of civilization, cutting down his enemies without a second thought. But in truth, he's the dog of this twisted civilization, manipulated since childhood into committing their dirty deeds by destroying everything in his path. But the story begins. In the Accretion Empire's Machination Lab, a rigorous selection process is underway. A robotic arm, equipped with a powerful firearm, is ready for combat, highlighting the militaristic nature of this future Earth. The gunmen takes up their rifles and start shooting at the Messi with dripping sweat coming from their foreheads, to get rid of the enemies who pose a threat to the Emperor and the Empire's people. The bullet starts flying into Messi like he's about to do some Matrix dodge in slow motion. But we get another view before that shit gonna happen, and he looks tough with his battle gear. The bullet is going straight for his head. But our Mick dodges everything and starts shooting back at them and headshotting everyone. The Mac did a massacre and pulls his guns back while the smoke is oozing out of the pistol. Then we get transported somewhere else where we see someone clapping. It looks like the higher-up is applauding to our Mick because of his mission that succeeded. The farth of the future where technology had developed significantly, however, this did not mean hope for humanity. Then we see empires fight against each other, like in the good old days when we watched Star Wars. Earth, once a vibrant home, was consumed by flames and destruction due to relentless resource wars and alien invasions, forcing humanity to flee. The scattered remnants of humanity embarked on a desperate journey through the vast emptiness of space, seeking a new sanctuary. After an arduous voyage, the survivors discovered a planet strikingly similar to their lost home, a beacon of hope in the darkness. This new world was christened Novus, meaning new home, and its coordinates were broadcast across the cosmos, calling all remaining humans to its shores. Responding to the call, spaceships carrying humanity's last hopes converged on Novus, beginning a new chapter for the species. On Novus, humanity established new civilizations, including the sprawling, futuristic settlements that dotted the new world's landscape. Among the emerging powers was the Balato Federation, a diverse society where numerous alien species coexisted with Earthlings. Then there was the Accretion Empire, a formidable military state renowned for its army of soldiers with advanced machinated physiques. And finally, the Holy Korite Alliance, an order of priests wielding potent force energy and unyielding mental fortitude. However, even on the new home of Novus, resources proved to be finite, reigniting old conflicts. This scarcity reignited old conflicts, leading humanity, once again, into a desperate struggle for survival and dominance. Thus, despite their shared past and the lessons of a lost Earth, humanity prepared for yet another war, a brutal fight to monopolize the planet's dwindling resources. Transitioning from the global conflict, the focus shifts to the Accretion Empire, where soldiers with machinated physiques like Luca, clad in advanced armor and armed with dual firearms, embody the Empire's might. As a preceding trainee, clad in advanced combat gear, exits the training area, Commander Hamila's Custoria and Luca stand by, awaiting Luca's turn. A voice comments, "You're next, you got bad luck, you're gonna be subject to a lot of comparisons." Commander Hamila's Custoria, a stern and commanding figure of the Accretion Imperial Guard, addresses the trainees. He reminds them that this is a crucial day to demonstrate their capabilities to His Majesty the Emperor. Accretion Imperial Guard trainee Luca, with a determined gaze, responds internally to the unseen comment, asserting, "We'll see who's the unlucky one, ready to prove his worth." Commander Hamiles directly addresses Luca, questioning if his name is indeed Luca and setting high expectations for the trainee. Luca confidently affirms, "I will," accepting the challenge. Luca reflects on the essential skills required to become an official Imperial Guard, particularly the ability to dodge and block bullets, a necessary capability in their rigorous training. Luca, now seen in his full combat suit, reveals he has undergone extensive simulation training in extreme situations, enhancing his spatial awareness and perception through advanced procedures to become a formidable soldier. The combat simulation begins as Luca stands ready in the red-hued arena, facing a group of 5 armed individuals prepared to test his enhanced abilities. Luca's opponents are revealed to be 5 menacing death row inmates, crudely outfitted with cheap cybernetic equipment, serving as formidable targets in the training exercise. With a swift, focused motion, Luca brandishes a bladed weapon, entering a combat stance, ready to engage the inmates with deadly precision. The death row inmates charge forward aggressively, their faces contorted in a mix of fury and overconfidence, initiating the close-quarters combat against Luca's disciplined defense. Responding instantly, Luca unleashes a lightning-fast and devastating kick, showcasing his superior physical prowess and honed combat skills against the incoming threats. With extreme focus, Luca pushes his perception to the limits, his armored helmet glowing as he anticipates every move from his opponents. One of the death row inmates fires his weapon, but Luca moves with impossible speed, a mere streak in the air as he skillfully evades the incoming bullet. Amidst the chaos of multiple attacks, Luca's heightened senses allow him to weave through the onslaught, his movements a blur as he dodges encounters with incredible precision. The death row inmates are taken aback by Luca's unexpected agility and power, their faces contorting in a mixture of surprise and anger as their attacks fail to connect. Bullets whiz past Luca, narrowly missing him as he deftly maneuvers through the barrage of gunfire, showcasing his mastery of evasive combat. Despite the intense combat, Luca maintains his strategic mindset, recognizing this as a crucial opportunity to distinguish himself and make a lasting impression on the Emperor. Luca's bladed weapon becomes a deadly extension of his will, striking down two of the death row inmates simultaneously with a swift and decisive blow, leaving them incapacitated. In a dramatic overhead shot, Luca stands victorious, his bladed weapon ready, as three of the death row inmates lie defeated, leaving the remaining two visibly shaken. The remaining death row inmates are quickly overwhelmed. A gun clatters to the floor, and their faces contort in shock and defeat as Luca systematically disarms and neutralizes them. Luca's face is a mask of fierce determination, his eyes glowing intensely, reflecting the immense concentration required to execute his flawless performance. Pushing his mental and physical limits, Luca's resolve hardens. I need to heighten my senses to the maximum, a critical step to achieve the precision and speed required. As Luca's senses surge, the chaotic battleground seems to slow, allowing his perception reinforcement procedures to kick in, enabling him to track and react to threats with superhuman speed, even incoming projectiles. Luca's extraordinary abilities are showcased as a bullet, fired from an inmate's weapon, is expertly deflected or stopped mid-flight, demonstrating his ballistic trajectory control. In a flurry of precise and powerful movements, Luca moves like a blur, disarming and neutralizing multiple death row inmates in a stunning display of combat prowess. Commander Hamila's Custoria observes Luca's exceptional performance with a shrewd and impressed smile, recognizing the trainee's raw talent and potential. The Imperial Guard emblem, prominently displayed, serves as a constant reminder of the rigorous standards and expectations placed upon all trainees within the Accretion Empire. Luca stands amidst the defeated inmates, his bladed weapon gleaming. Aura emanates from his body, signifying the immense power and concentration he exerted. The aftermath of the simulation reveals Luca as the sole figure standing among the incapacitated death row inmates, a testament to his overwhelming skill and efficiency. Worn but victorious, Luca's face, streaked with sweat and a hint of blood, displays a mix of exhaustion and exhilaration as he declares, "I did it! I surpassed my limits." After the grueling simulation, Luca stands in his casual uniform before Commander Hamila's Custoria, who acknowledges Luca's exceptional skill, particularly his use of ballistic trajectory control. Commander Hamilas expresses his surprise at Luca's advanced technique, stating he didn't expect such a display, further emphasizing Luca's extraordinary talent. As Luca listens intently, Commander Hamilas maintains a watchful gaze, his words carrying weight and significance for the young trainee's future within the Empire. Commander Hamilas then offers Luca a gift, a gesture that leaves Luca somewhat surprised and questioning the commander's intentions. Luca's eye widens in surprise, hinting at the profound impact this unexpected gift from Commander Hamilas will have on him. The other trainees watch, their faces a mixture of awe and intimidation, as Luca's astounding combat performance culminates, setting a new benchmark for skill. Commander Hamila's Custoria displays a broad, almost sinister grin, a clear sign of his approval and satisfaction with Luca's exceptional demonstration of power. Hamilas notes Luca's bloodied hand and remarks, "You're not phased at all. You must have done great on your pain tolerance training, Luca," hinting at the rigorous nature of Imperial Guard preparation. Despite the physical toll, Luca manages a strained smile and responds, I'm glad," to Hamilas' praise of, "I like you," acknowledging the commander's rare approval. Amidst the red glow of the training facility, two armored figures stand, their presence setting a tense atmosphere for the next phase of Luca's journey. A charismatic young man with blonde hair and a distinctive mechanical hand introduces himself as Ela Carika, number 12, his friendly smile belying a subtle cunning. Luca's keen eye narrows with suspicion, his wary gaze assessing Ela Carika, sensing a deeper motive behind the newcomer's seemingly genial approach. In his quarters, Luca sits shirtless on his bed, revealing cybernetic enhancements and an eye patch over one eye, the gift from Hemilis. Ela Carika observes him, initiating a private conversation. Ela Carika stands in the doorway of Luca's quarters, inviting him in with a casual, almost familiar gesture, bridging the gap between them. Ela praises Luca's earlier performance. "You were really good back there. I was impressed." Luca, ever guarded, retorts, "You're in the wrong place if you wish to exchange praises, young master," highlighting his reluctance for casual pleasantries. Luca, discerning Ela Carika's noble lineage from his demeanor, silently acknowledges the inherent difficulty in forming a genuine connection with someone from such a privileged background. Despite Luca's clear weariness and his internal wish for the conversation to end, Ela, seemingly noticing Luca's exhaustion, then leans in, changing the subject by offering a small device designed to aid in rest. Ela Carika, with a subtly cunning smile, offers Luca a small device, initiating a conversation in Luca's private quarters. Ela explains his gift is a device designed to decrease sensitivity, promising Luca a better rest after his grueling training. Luca rejects the offer, stating he doesn't need it, but Ela persists, advising that mental fortitude alone isn't enough for recovery and effective training. Luca observes Ela, a mechanical arm gleaming, perhaps reflecting on the differences between their backgrounds and how Ela carries himself with ease. Luca, still guarded, observes Ela, thinking about the sophistication of Ela's gear compared to knockoffs from the streets and admitting, "You were pretty good too, Ela. I just copied you," possibly referring to Ela's composed demeanor despite the intense environment. Ela reveals his own advanced cybernetics, a mechanical eye, and contrasts his calculation-based trajectory control with Luca's seemingly instinctive actions during the simulation. Ela implies that Commander Hemilis gifted Luca his mechanical eye due to his irregular status as a valuable asset, while Luca insists he simply tried really hard throughout the training. Luca's eye sharpens with unease, as Ela's words about nobility's excellence and the lower class's powerlessness resonate with a harsh reality. A stark flashback to Luca's past as a lower-class orphan unfolds, emphasizing his desperation to seize any rare opportunity to escape his desolate origins. Ela maintains a composed expression as he reiterates the societal divide. Nobility is excellence, further highlighting the systemic class differences. Ela probes Luca, questioning if he truly believes everyone who failed the selection process did so purely on merit, hinting at the systemic unfairness that permeates the Imperial Guard. As Ela brazenly suggests that many candidates paid to manipulate their results, Luca's mind races, echoing, "That's possible?" as the shocking truth about the Empire's deep-seated corruption begins to unravel before him. Ela continues to reveal his cynical view of the system, asserting his strong belief in the widespread manipulation of results. Ela contrasts Luca's success with the corrupt system, praising him as someone who made it purely through skill, without any support system, and irregular. Luca is visibly shaken by Ela's words, never having considered that a noble would expose such flaws in the system or praise those from lower classes. He questions Ela's true motives. Ela extends his mechanical hand to Luca, his expression a mix of encouragement and subtle manipulation, inviting a bond. Ela expresses his belief that individuals like Luca, who achieve success through pure merit, are the ones who truly deserve to succeed. Ela offers his support, telling Luca, "I'll be cheering you on," as Luca looks at the extended hand with a lingering sense of caution. Luca and Ela shake hands, a silent pact formed between the two with Luca responding, "I plan on it," solidifying a complex, perhaps uneasy, alliance. Luca, with his eyes glowing red, declares his unwavering dedication to the Accretion Empire, seemingly reaffirming his commitment despite the revelations. Ela watches Luca's declaration with a subtle, knowing smirk, hinting at a deeper game at play and his potential manipulative influence over Luca. A sprawling, futuristic cityscape engulfed in fire and destruction serves as a stark reminder of the volatile and tyrannical nature of the world Luca inhabits. As the chapter concludes, it sets the stage. This story follows the chronicles of a boy being raised as a military weapon in the tyrannical empire, Accretion, hinting at the intense journey ahead for Luca. To fully grasp this narrative, the world of planet Novus is laid out, a new home forged by humanity, yet still divided into three formidable forces: the Free Belatian Federation, the Accretion Empire, and the Holy Korite Alliance, each vying for dominance in a brutal struggle for survival. In the training facility, Luca focuses on a target dummy, his stance hinting at a new level of precision and control in his marksmanship. Luca, gun in hand, showcases impressive agility and aiming prowess, his form indicative of advanced training and natural talent. A close-up reveals the intricate mechanisms of Luca's transplanted mechanical eye, its targeting system actively working, confirming the enhancement from Commander Hamilis's gift. Luca unleashes a rapid volley of precise gunfire, the visual effects emphasizing the explosive power and accuracy of his shots. The target dummy stands riddled with bullet holes, a testament to Luca's exceptional shooting accuracy, likely aided by his new mechanical eye. A detailed shot of the dummy's head reveals multiple bullet holes perfectly centered in a single spot, showcasing Luca's incredible precision. Ela Carika expresses his astonishment at Luca's flawless marksmanship, remarking, "You managed to shoot all the targets square in the head. I guess the top student really is of a different breed." Ela playfully teases Luca about his newly transplanted mechanical eye and his unexpected skill with a gun, despite specializing in close combat. Luca sternly responds that it's natural for guards to be proficient with all weapons, hinting at a hidden talent or newfound capability. Luca counters Ela's teasing by revealing Ela's own exceptional shooting skills, stating he wouldn't expect such comments from someone who can shoot through the same hole. Ela admits, "My specialty just happens to be with guns." Ela playfully challenges Luca, warning that he'll eventually surpass him if Luca maintains his nonchalant attitude. Luca, with a wry smile, welcomes the potential competition. With a knowing look, Ela concludes their exchange by reaffirming his support, stating, "Just like I said before, I'm always rooting for you. The Empire needs people like you," leaving Luca to ponder his words as Ela's true intentions remain ambiguous. Luca observes Ela with an intense, questioning gaze, silently processing the noble's provocative statements about the Empire. Ela, gesturing expansively with his mechanical hand, asserts that the Empire's system dilutes true talent, allowing the powerful to masquerade as skilled, regardless of actual ability. He challenges Luca, suggesting that the emergence of naturally gifted irregulars like him will force people to distinguish genuine talent from manufactured status. Luca confronts Ela directly, warning him that his words sound like criticism of the Empire's very system, a dangerous statement for anyone to make. Luca continues his veiled threat, reminding Ela that such seditious talk, if reported, could have severe consequences even for a powerful noble of the Carika household. Ela simply offers a confident smirk, completely unfazed by Luca's warning, indicating his self-assuredness and perhaps his deeper understanding of Luca's character. Ela reveals he knew Luca wouldn't report him, stating, "I'm already aware that you're a good person," demonstrating his sharp perception of Luca's moral compass. With a gentle smile, Ela thanks Luca for his concern, while Luca, holding his gun, remains contemplative, reflecting on Ela's surprising insight. The scene shifts to large, armored transport vehicles moving across a barren landscape, signaling a new, more practical phase of training or a deployment. Commander Hamilis's Custodia announces to the assembled trainees that Luca and Ela will serve as platoon leaders for the upcoming exercise, entrusting them with significant responsibility. Hamilis issues a stern challenge. If any trainee has an issue with that, stand up and leave, asserting his absolute authority and demanding unquestioning obedience. As Hamilis continues, Luca and Ela sit among the other trainees, none daring to challenge the commander's decision, accepting their new leadership roles. In the arid canyon-like terrain, a Korite outpost stands silhouetted against a brilliant sunset. A voice declares, "Across the gorge, there is a Korite outpost illegally stationed in our territories." 2 military vehicles are seen deployed on the rocky ground, transporting the trainees to the supposed outpost. A statement clarifies the mission's intent, calling it a training exercise designed to test your ability in the field. The general is saying there is no need for prisoners, so kill them all, that's my final command. Then, we seeing our Max standing there. They are hyped for their first mission, and Armasi is saying to his friend, "Are you scared? But we already have killed people in our training. But this is the first time we're facing an outside force. The Bebelatian Federation, the Holy Korite Alliance, and even the Accretion Empire all have planet Earth's humanity as ancestors." The Mixi is saying, "There's no need to get lost in your emotions, Ela. Do you think anyone there thinks the senior guards are here to protect us?" Then we see the menacing guard of the Empire just standing there. "I'm sure they're here to supervise us. They might even kill us if we try taking anyone as a prisoner. I agree that the idiots who aren't aware of their places do not belong in the Imperial Guard. On planet Novus, other forces are just bugs to the Empire. We learn this. Everyone there uses and deceives the Empire for own gains. Ela is agreeing to our Misi on what he is saying. A scene shifts to a distant memory where a man shields a child, both enveloped by glowing energy rings. A voice echoes, "That's what we were taught." Amidst a chaotic and fiery backdrop, Luca stands firm in his dark armor, a sharp blade in hand, resolute amidst the destruction. A glowing device or piece of machinery, with intricate luminous details, lies amidst fire and wreckage, signifying the intensity of the battle. In a ravaged and burning city, Luca advances with a cold demeanor, his red glowing blade reflecting the flames. In the background, intense skirmishes continue. Luca, in his dark armor with piercing red eyes, expresses an internal thought: this training should end without problem. Amidst the spectacle of fire and smoke, Luca, still clad in his combat armor, faces a child cowering in fear, sparking a moment of hesitation within him. The child huddles in despair, face hidden in their arms, surrounded by flames, symbolizing the terror of war. Luca appears bewildered and startled, a part of his armor seemingly coming undone, as he recognizes the child's presence and exclaims, "A child!" The child remains curled up in extreme fear, as Luca's thought echoes, "He's so scared he can't even move." Fear is evident on the child's face, with tears streaming down and mouth agape in a silent cry. The child's face is drenched in tears, eyes tightly shut in ultimate fear, showing distress and helplessness. The stern face of Gemellus Custoria appears in Luca's memory or thoughts as the brutal order reverberates. There is no need for prisoners, so kill them all. The internal struggle of Luca manifests with a jarring textual command, "Don't hesitate," Farley, echoing the Empire's ruthless doctrine amidst the fiery chaos. Luca's face, unarmored and intense, his eyes glowing with a fierce red, reflects his internal battle as he rationalizes the mission. They're only insects who sap up the Empire's supplies. A powerful figure, possibly a Korite force user, makes a dramatic entrance, landing on a rocky peak with immense force, causing the ground below to shatter and crack, signifying a sudden and impactful arrival. A tear runs down Luca's cheek, mingling with the reflections of fire, highlighting his profound emotional turmoil and hesitation in the face of the destruction. In a poignant moment, Luca, still in his imposing armor, gazes down at the terrified Korite child, whose tear-filled eyes look up at him, creating a stark contrast between duty and empathy. Luca's internal conflict deepens as he grapples with the morality of his orders. "I shouldn't do this. If the headquarters ever obtain knowledge of my actions, I don't know what will happen to me." Luca looks back towards the cowering child in the distance, his thoughts consumed by a moral dilemma. Should I go back and take care of him? A sudden, brilliant explosion erupts from the area near the child, capturing Luca's attention and signaling a dramatic shift in the battle. Luca looks up, surprised, as a figure is visible atop a distant tower amidst the burning landscape, indicating an unexpected presence. From a concealed position, Ela is seen aiming a rifle, his cybernetic eye glowing as he intently observes the unfolding events, his presence unnoticed by Luca. Luca's face contorts in a mixture of anger and shock as he realizes Ela's hidden observation, exclaiming, "Ela!" The sudden revelation leaves him reeling, his mind racing to comprehend the implications of his friend's clandestine presence. A torrent of questions floods Luca's thoughts, his internal monologue betraying his growing suspicion and unease regarding Ela's true intentions. Since when was he there? Was he watching everything? He knows his hesitation was noticed, and the consequences could be severe. A close-up reveals Ela's smirking face, his blue eyes glinting with a complex mix of amusement and shrewdness as a drop of sweat traces his temple. Luca's eyes narrow with intense determination, a bead of sweat indicative of his internal strain as he processes the unsettling realization of Ela's clandestine presence. Luca's internal monologue reflects his growing anxiety. However, if any of the other trainees saw, then he is clearly wrestling with the severe consequences of his actions being exposed. Luca, fully armored, looks upwards as a brilliant blue light bursts forth. His thoughts crystallize with resolve. "I need to keep an eye on Ela," realizing the depth of the deception. Luca stands resolute, facing a towering structure from which a fiery explosion erupts, the heat and force of the blast visible as it ignites the surrounding area. A profile view of Luca in his sleek, dark armor, his helmet's red accents glowing against the fiery backdrop as he turns his attention towards the new and formidable threat. In the midst of the red-tinged battlefield, Luca stands in the foreground, his armored form commanding, while behind him, the Korite force user begins to channel powerful energy, preparing for an assault. The Korite Force user, a powerful figure with long dark hair and an enraged expression, unleashes a torrent of blue energy, fiercely declaring, "Go to hell, you accretions." Luca looks on in shock and disbelief, contemplating the sheer power displayed. Did he cause the explosion just now? His words highlight the unexpected and supernatural nature of the attack. From Luca's perspective, his armored foot anchors the foreground, while in the distance, the Korite Force user stands poised, emanating blue energy. Luca's internal analysis continues. If he can cause an explosion without weapons, then... The Korite Force user looks up sharply, his expression a mix of surprise and determination, as a small, winged drone or creature descends from the fiery sky towards him, distracting him from the immediate conflict. A close-up of an armored helmet, belonging to an accretion soldier, glows vividly with blue light, reflecting the widespread shock and confusion at the sudden, powerful assault and the unexpected distraction. The Korite Force user hovers above the ground, creating a powerful explosion that ripples outwards, demonstrating his devastating power and the chaos he brings to the battlefield. Luca's face, unarmored and contorted in shock, is illuminated by the explosion's light as he realizes the true nature of his adversary, exclaiming, "Forcey, there was a Force user." The Korite Force user, consumed by rage, extends his hand, emanating blue energy, and passionately denounces the accretion invasion. "This isn't a base, it's a settlement. The people you killed were just doing their best to live." Luca, surrounded by other armored trainees, faces the Korite Force user. His internal monologue reveals his burgeoning doubts. Did the captain know about this? If he told us this information in advance, Ela could have. His thoughts are cut short by the gravity of the situation. Ela lies injured on the rocky ground, his form obscured by battle. Luca reaches out a hand and Ela confesses, "Luca, I let my guard down. I have no excuses." Luca responds with a determined yet caring tone, "Haha, I'll take care of him, so go get some rest." Luca's internal monologue weighs heavily on him. Consumed by self-reproach, my hesitation caused this problem. With newfound resolve, Luca asserts his leadership and combat expertise, declaring, "I've learned countless times on how to deal with a Force user. I'll do whatever it takes to make up for my mistake. I'll take care of him. Everyone else, disperse and take over the base." Luca, armored and agile, swiftly dodges a barrage of energy attacks from the Korite Force user, who looks on with surprise as Luca anticipates and evades his powerful blasts. The Korite Force user glares down at the nimble Luca, shouting in frustration, "Where do you think you're going, you bastards?" The Force user's movements create a sense of urgency and power. Luca, his expression thoughtful and analytical, deduces the Force user's strategy. It looks like he's acting as bait to buy time for his allies to get away. He then reveals his own tactical insight. In order for one to use Force, the user needs to perform a preparatory action. The Korite Force user performs intricate hand signs, surrounded by crackling blue energy, as Luca meticulously observes his every move. Luca's internal monologue reveals his tactical insight. In this case, his would be hand signs. As long as I can see a disruption in space, I can anticipate his next attack. Luca, in his full armor, continues to navigate through the chaotic environment of explosions and energy blasts with exceptional agility. His relentless evasion forcing the Korite Force user to push his limits and showing the toll it's taking. The Korite Force user grimaces in pain, sweat beading on his brow and a trickle of blood from his nose, indicating the immense strain of keeping up with Luca's relentless speed. Luca's face is etched with grim determination as his internal monologue reveals his desperate strategy. "I'd prefer a battle of attrition, but there's no other choice. Even if my body will collapse first if I continue maintaining a high-speed maneuver." Luca, in his armored helmet, blazes past a blue energy blast launched by the Korite Force user, his speed proving an unexpected challenge for his opponent. Luca's armored head streaks across the panel, leaving a vibrant trail of energy as he moves with blinding speed, a testament to his high-speed evasion tactics. Luca executes a powerful strike with his blade, creating a fiery impact, while the Korite Force user is forced airborne, struggling to counter Luca's aggressive assault. The Korite Force user's face is twisted in an enraged snarl, his blue eyes glowing fiercely as he prepares another potent attack against Luca. In a swift move, Luca appears to have seized the Korite Force user's arm or hand, with raw energy crackling between them, signaling a momentary advantage for Luca. He declares, "I got him." A close-up of Luca's armored helmet with a triumphant glow reinforces his declaration, "I got him." He believes he has gained the decisive upper hand. The Korite Force user, with a fierce expression and glowing blue eyes, seizes Luca's weapon and tragically impales him with his own blade, turning the tables in a shocking reversal. Luca's helmet shatters dramatically, revealing his face contorted in shock and excruciating pain as fragments of his armor scatter through the air. The Korite Force user, his glowing blue eyes filled with a mix of pity and sadness, gazes down upon the impaled Luca, a poignant realization escaping his lips. "You're just a child." Luca's eye, wide with shock and confusion, reflects his utter disbelief at this sudden defeat, a silent question forming, "How W?" as his body begins its plummet. The Korite Force user's face is etched with sadness and a hint of a tear as he looks down at Luca, uttering, "You're just a child." Luca falls rapidly through the air, his body distorted by the speed of his descent, a clear indication of his painful and sudden impact after being impaled. The Korite Force user hovers above the defeated Luca, who is still impaled, his gaze fixed upwards at his victor, emphasizing the dramatic shift in power. Luca lies prone on the battle-scarred ground, surrounded by a pool of his own blood, while the Korite Force user stands over him, a somber expression on his face, signifying the end of their confrontation. Luca's broken armored helmet lies discarded, a poignant symbol of his defeat. His internal thought echoes his near-death experience. "If he went through with his attack, I would have died." Luca, still reeling from his defeat, questions the unexpected mercy shown by his enemy. "Korite is made up of fanatics that are beyond human comprehension, so why did he fail to kill me?" Imperial dogma flashes across the screen. "Move. Do not let your emotions consume you during battle." This starkly contrasts Luca's recent emotional turmoil and the mercy he received. Another resounding proclamation of the Empire's core value: this is all for the Empire. Luca lies unarmored and severely wounded amidst the burning ruins, his body sprawled on the debris-strewn ground, a victim of the brutal battle. The Imperial mandate continues to resonate. 2-0 kill those who threaten the safety of the Emperor and the people of the Empire. A close-up of Luca's face, his eyes glowing intensely red, reveals a complex mix of anger, confusion, and fear, as sweat drips down his brow amidst the fiery aftermath. He is questioning everything, his mind reeling from the encounter with the Korite Force user and the unexpected mercy shown. The final statement of the Imperial ideology, i.e., the reason for the Imperial Guard's existence, now rings hollow in Luca's ears. This declaration stands in stark contrast to his recent experience of civilian casualties and an enemy's compassion, deepening his growing doubts about the Empire's narrative and his purpose. As Luca falls through the burning ruins, he is haunted by the cries of the Korite citizens, "Help me! Please, please, let me go home!" These desperate pleas echo the true cost of his mission. The scene shifts to an Acritia hospital recovery room, where multiple individuals are suspended in advanced recovery pods, signifying a time skip in the aftermath of the battle. Luca lies submerged in a recovery pod, his face serene but focused, as Ele's voice breaks the silence, questioning him. "Luca, how does it feel to almost die?" Still within his pod, Luca retorts with his usual bravado, "Speak for yourself, Ele. It was you who almost died." In a neighboring recovery pod, Ele is seen, his expression relaxed as he lets out a playful laugh. "Ha ha ha." Luca and Ele discuss their extensive injuries and the cybernetic enhancements they received. Ele mentions, "I got new arms and legs this time. How many did you change?" Luca responds, "My back was destroyed, so I got titanium bones and artificial skin. I'm going to end up with a completely new body in a couple of years anyways, so might as well get them a little early." Ele's gaze sharpens as he muses. The boss probably knew that there's a Force user, right? He begins to question the true nature of their mission and their superior's intentions. Luca ponders Ele's words, as Ele elaborates on the mission's deceptive nature. "The reason why we didn't hear anything about it was a test. Seeing how our seniors didn't step up to help, they probably figured we could handle it. Nobody was killed in action anyway." Ele challenges Luca's perception of their survival. "Isn't that weird though? Me and the other cadet who got blasted with the Force attack head-on survived. That's a little too odd to say it was all a coincidence." A critical realization dawns on Luca. Maybe that Force user didn't intend to kill us from the start. This thought challenges his ingrained beliefs about the enemy. Luca's mind flashes back to the Korite Force user's tearful face and his poignant words, "You were just a kid?" The memory deeply unsettles Luca, forcing him to confront the unexpected mercy and the complexities of his identity, far from the black and white world the Empire portrays. Yet even in his vulnerability, Luca's indoctrination fiercely resurfaces. His internal monologue is fraught with defiance, struggling to reconcile the mercy he received with his hardened role as a soldier. "I'm already a warrior, a soldier. Letting me live was a mistake on his part." Luca's internal monologue fiercely rejects the concept of mercy, viewing it as a weakness that leads to the demise of the Korite people. That pathetic mercy is the reason why the Korine will continue to die out. Luca's face is contorted in intense rage, his red eyes burning, as his thoughts conclude with a vengeful declaration: "Regret as you watch your comrades continue to die from hell." This reflects his deep-seated anger and refusal to accept pity. Luca, still confined in the recovery pod, looks conflicted as Ela, with a probing expression, asks a poignant question: "Luca, why did you close the eyes of that Korine girl?" Ela's intense blue eyes, highlighted in a close-up, convey his persistent curiosity as he presses Luca for an answer. "Can you tell me why?" Luca, clearly annoyed by Ela's persistent questioning, retorts with a sarcastic jab: "You talk too much. Did you get a new tongue too?" A rare moment of introspection washes over Luca as his expression becomes serious and troubled, and he admits to himself, "That was a mistake." 2 years have passed since the fateful mission. A stern centurion, wearing distinctive goggles, addresses a new cohort of Imperial Guard trainees. "With this, you've completed 2 out of 4 years of Imperial Guard training." He adds, "There are now batches younger than you, so be a model to those new recruits." The centurion specifically acknowledges Luca and Ela, standing prominently among the recruits, declaring them the top performers, especially you two, Luca and Ela, as the top 1 and the top 2. The centurion encourages Luca and Ela, emphasizing their potential for leadership. "You two can aim to be a centurion as well." He concludes with an inspiring call to duty: "Keep at it, for the glory of the Emperor and his citizens." Ela responds respectfully with, "Yes, sir." Luca, however, is lost in thought, the word, "a centurion," lingering in his mind, hinting at new ambitions. A textual panel concisely explains the hierarchical structure of the Imperial Guard. The Imperial Guard is organized, quite simply. A graphic illustrates the clear chain of command within the Imperial Guard, depicting a single leader at the top overseeing 10 subordinate tiers, each with its own structure. A text panel elaborates on the Imperial Guard structure. The era the Sen Guardsmen, consisting of 10 sentries, all commanded by a chief centurion. It then details, the commander of the guards, the chief centurion is also the centurion of the first century. The centurion concludes his briefing, "That's all. Continue your training." Below this, a textual narration adds, "And cadets like me, after finishing a full-body mechanization, are assigned to the lowest ranking century, the 10th century. This sets up Luca's initial position in the hierarchy. Luca is seen in close-up, his expression determined, as he thinks, "And if I become the centurion of the 10th century," this implies his ambition to rise through the ranks. The scene transitions to a training arena where Luca and Ela are engaged in intense hand-to-hand combat, their movements generating shockwaves. Other cadets observe from the sidelines. Ela lunges forward with a powerful punch, his cybernetic hand glowing, his blue eyes focused on his target. Luca deftly blocks Ela's attack with his own cybernetic arm, their movements creating a burst of energy, showcasing their synchronized combat skills. A dynamic vertical panel shows multiple identical figures of Luca and Ela engaged in rapid combat, illustrating their incredible speed and multiple exchanges of blows. Luca's face is shown in close-up, a bead of sweat on his brow, his eyes fixed with intense concentration as he aims his cybernetic weapon. A powerful cybernetic leg delivers a swift kick, blurring with motion and impact. Ela's cybernetic arm and hand are shown delivering a powerful blow, sparks flying from the impact. His face is tense with effort. Luca is sent flying backward by a powerful blow, his expression one of shock and pain. Luca, on the ground, looks up at Ela with an intense and aggressive expression, his eyes glowing with dark energy, ready to continue the fight. Ela looks down at him, seemingly surprised. Ela Carika's face is etched with a mixture of fear and exhaustion, a bead of sweat tracing a path down his temple. The intense sound effects suggest he's in the middle of a strenuous and possibly dangerous situation. The light is reflection of our boy where he is doing a fist bump and saying that makes 124 rounds and 124 wins. My friend Ela. We get transported into a Ba location in a volcanic planet. Ela says I thought I'd finally win this time against our Mixie. If getting new parts was all there is to getting stronger, what use is training then, says our Mixie. Ela says, looks like you became even more rigid after that speech. The Centurion thing seems to have impacted you a lot, of course, says our Mixie, while looking out at the distance. If I have experience serving as an Imperial Guard, I'd be welcomed anywhere. Ela says, you're already in a position where your birth no longer matters. Why don't you relax a little? Unlike you, I have no place to return to. I have to keep climbing, or it's over for me. Ela, you have talent, but you lack drive. Bro is low-key, the fraud Nagi. Why do you want to become a guardsman anyway? I wanted to be a scholar and archaeologist, to study the ancient arcane civilization. Armasi is saying then, why don't you if you want to? It's banned in the Empire for an individual to study the arcane civilization. Besides, my house has already produced multiple generals. They'd never allow me to do anything else. Are you saying you're sad because you can't do what you want? You're spoiled? There are countless people in the slums who aren't guaranteed to live another day. Plenty are even thankful just to have something to eat. I thought you'd say that, says out Moile. But I just told you, my friend is a secret of mine. Luca, someone may interpret what you said as a criticism of the Empire. You'll be ruined if someone reports it. Ela Carika challenges Luca, stating that Luca wouldn't harm him, just as Ela has kept Luca's secret about the Korean girl. Luca, with a tense expression, tries to justify his past hesitation by claiming his opponent was a non-combatant and insists that he would have gone for the kill if it weren't for that specific circumstance. Luca's eyes glow crimson as he fiercely declares his absolute loyalty to the Empire and the Emperor for recognizing his talents, emphatically stating that the enemies of the Empire are his enemies. Ela Carika stands thoughtfully, his cybernetic arm a prominent feature against the starry backdrop as he processes Luca's intense declaration of loyalty. A close-up reveals Luca's mouth and a slight frown, possibly a sigh or a frustrated intake of breath after his stern affirmation of loyalty. The scene shows Luca still seated on a high platform while Ela Carika stands, now seemingly walking away or having just gotten up, against the vast, futuristic cityscape under a starry sky. Ela Carika turns to deliver a final cutting remark to Luca, asserting that if Luca's allegiance to the Empire truly surpassed simple loyalty, he would have already tried to kill Ela himself. With a knowing smirk, Ela Carika walks away from Luca, who remains seated in the background, leaving Luca to ponder his provocative words. Luca's face shows clear signs of anger and frustration, a bead of sweat forming on his temple, indicating that Ela's challenging words have struck a nerve and forced him to confront his inner conflict. The setting shifts dramatically to a rugged, mountainous landscape under a vibrant reddish sky, dominated by several towering, monolithic structures. A text overlay identifies this as the uninhabited neutral zone, marking a transition to the Reconnaissance mission. The first panel shows a close-up of a glowing cybernetic hand, while the second panel reveals Ela Carika, hooded, standing before one of the ancient, glowing pillars. He remarks that this is an arcane site and detects an ancient energy response, despite it being millions of years old. Ela Carika's face is illuminated with an almost ecstatic, wide-eyed grin. His hooded figure and sparkling eyes betray his genuine excitement at discovering the ancient arcane site, fulfilling his hidden scholarly aspirations. Ela Carika, with a wide, excited grin, leads a group of hooded Imperial Guard trainees through a dense, misty forest towards the arcane site, his enthusiasm palpable. Luca, hooded and serious, observes his surroundings with a cautious and wary expression, a bead of sweat on his temple hinting at his underlying tension. Ela, in the foreground, eagerly gestures towards one of the glowing ancient pillars of the arcane site, while other hooded trainees, including Luca, explore the mysterious environment. Ela, or another trainee, optimistically suggests that even if they can't handle a threat, the Imperial Guards will surely come to their aid, prompting Luca to respond with a thoughtful, "That's..." Luca, deep in thought, reflects on the philosophical connection between past, present, and future, contemplating that the present exists because of the past, and that record allows us to predict the future. A new character, Claude Ramones, an Accretion Imperial Guard trainee, is introduced with a friendly, almost mischievous smile and striking red eyes, his confident demeanor standing out. Claude Ramones, with a probing smile, observes Luca, while Luca, deep in thought, acknowledges Claude's respected family background. Claude then asks Luca a direct question, to which Luca responds with a questioning glance. Luca reacts aggressively to Claude's flirtatious comment, with his eyes glowing red and his fists clenched, surrounded by a red aura, declaring he will consider Claude a threat if he comes any closer. Claude, unfazed, calmly reassures Luca there's no need to be scared. Claude Ramones continues his playful teasing, mentioning he would have introduced Luca to his sister if Luca weren't seeing anyone. Luca then starkly reveals his past by stating, "I'm from an orphanage." Claude, unfazed, confidently replies that whether from an orphanage or nobility, Luca will likely end up as his superior. Ela Carika, with a knowing grin, teases Luca about his apparent popularity as a ghostly, long-haired female figure appears behind them, symbolizing Luca's desirability or past romantic entanglements. Suddenly, Luca and Ela Carika's cybernetic eyes flash with an intense blue glow, accompanied by sharp digital sounds, signaling the detection of an unseen threat and a swift, urgent system response. In the face of this sudden, powerful biological response, Luca immediately takes command, barking orders for Ela's group to split and provide covering fire from the rear, while he and Claude Ramones will confront the unknown danger head-on from the front, steeling themselves for an intense, direct confrontation. A close-up reveals the menacing, dark-armored helmet of a combatant, with glowing red accents, as an ominous sound effect signals impending action. From behind, a cloaked figure in dark combat gear approaches a brightly lit gateway, beyond which stands a solitary, powerful entity, creating an atmosphere of intense confrontation. A silhouetted figure, revealed to be the Korite Paladin, stands before a dazzling, luminous, crystalline object suspended above an ancient structure, exuding a mystical aura within the arcane site. A profile shot of a sleek, dark combat helmet, featuring angular lines and a glowing visor, highlights the advanced technology and imminent danger faced by the trainees. Luca's cybernetic eye, wide with terror and glistening with sweat, glows a desperate red as he exclaims, "Damn it, dumb," realizing the overwhelming power of their foe. The formidable Korite Paladin stands fully revealed, clad in gleaming white and silver armor with an imposing cape, a powerful sword held ready, its presence emanating immense power. A close-up of the Korite Paladin's helmet shows a beam of pure energy emitting from its visor, accompanied by a sound effect, as it targets its next move with deadly precision. Luca and Claude, in their dark combat gear, crouch amidst the debris and dust, bracing themselves against the overwhelming force unleashed by the Korite Paladin, a sound effect emphasizing the impact. The Korite Paladin, enveloped in swirling blue energy, raises its glowing sword, preparing to unleash a devastating attack, showcasing its formidable Force user's abilities. In a frantic sequence, a terrified Luca screams, "RU run," before desperately yelling, "CLAU," as a surge of blue energy erupts, signaling a catastrophic strike. The Korite Paladin unleashes a devastating blue energy attack, tearing through the environment in a blinding flash and violent shockwaves, as debris flies everywhere, confirming a direct and powerful hit. Following the direct hit, blood splatters across a cybernetically enhanced limb against a stark white background, a chilling visual that signals a severe injury and leaves Claude's fate tragically uncertain, setting the stage for Luca's horrified reaction. Luca's face contorts in a mask of horror and disbelief, sweat beading on his skin as he desperately utters, "CLAU'd?" grappling with the devastating attack. The Korite Paladin stands majestically, enveloped in swirling blue energy, as it extends a hand, demonstrating its control over powerful Force abilities. A sharp, luminous blue energy spear, crackling with power, streaks through the air with incredible velocity, launched as a deadly projectile by the Paladin. The glowing tip of the energy spear emits an ominous sound as it rapidly approaches its target, highlighting the lethal precision of the Paladin's attack. A long, serpentine stream of intense blue energy, resembling a luminous whip, violently slices through the air, indicating the Paladin's relentless assault. Luca's armored body is violently flung through the air by the force of the Paladin's attack, while the Korite Paladin remains unmoving, its hand still extended, demonstrating its unwavering power. The Korite Paladin, its form radiating with intense blue energy, swiftly moves through the blurred surroundings, its glowing sword held ready for the next deadly strike. Luca, in his dark combat armor, struggles to his feet on one knee amidst the forest floor, his red eyes burning with defiant intensity, refusing to yield despite the pain and overwhelming odds. A poignant memory surfaces. Claude Ramones, with his characteristic friendly smile, remarks to Luca, "I was going to introduce my younger sister to you if you didn't have any woman in mind," a painful contrast to the current grim reality. Luca's face contorts in anguish, sweat pouring down as his cybernetic implants whir with strained effort, his ragged breathing indicating the immense physical and emotional toll of the situation. Luca first spots the fallen armored figure of Claude, his heart sinking. Then, in despair, he kneels beside him, his helmet removed, his face etched with profound grief and helplessness over Claude's fate, a cruel echo of Claude's earlier playful banter. Amidst his tears and sweat, Luca's cybernetic eye flickers and glows red, straining beyond its limits. He screams, "Work! Damn, mechanic! Aye!" desperately trying to find any solution, to calculate the paladin's movements, or perhaps to revive his fallen comrade as he sees the incoming threat with terrifying clarity. Luca desperately tries to analyze the Korite paladin through his cybernetic eye, but the system is overwhelmed, displaying multiple errors messages as he demands it. Calculate the trajectory of the spear, no matter what. A weapon fires with a bright muzzle flash and a powerful sound, indicating that the Imperial Guard trainees are engaging the formidable Korite paladin. Blue energy impacts explode against the Korite paladin, momentarily disrupting its ethereal form and hexagonal energy shield as the trainees launch their counterattack. A masked Ela, leading two other masked trainees, urgently yells, "Luca, get it together!" as they charge forward, providing crucial backup amidst the chaos. Ela, at the forefront of his team, rallies his fellow trainees with a determined command, "Don't just stand there. Fight and stall time," as they engage the Korite paladin in fierce combat. Luca's face is a mask of intense concentration, sweat dripping from his chin as he processes the dire situation, his rapid breathing echoing the internal struggle. A determined Luca realizes, no, he's right. Even if I try to run, I won't be able to escape this situation. A heavy sigh escapes him as he concludes, then there's only one to tackle it. Luca stands resolute in his combat armor, a glowing red energy blade activated and ready as he prepares to directly confront the formidable Korite paladin. An unmasked Ela, his face filled with grim determination, fights valiantly, hoping against hope that if we hold on for just a dozen or so seconds, I'm sure the Imperial Guard, member that was watching, will get here. Luca, seen from behind, confronts the Korite paladin who stands menacingly before the glowing arcane artifact, ready for a direct clash. The Korite paladin extends its glowing blue hand, unleashing a powerful energy attack as a digital timer ominously ticks down to 00,065s, signaling the immediate onset of the climax. Luca, his helmet obscuring his expression, intently watches the powerful blue energy projectile hurtling directly towards him, his cybernetic system straining to anticipate the impact, bracing for a desperate defense. Luca, despite his cybernetic eye struggling to process the chaotic scene and displaying multiple error messages, fiercely activates his energy blade to deflect the Korite paladin's powerful blue energy attack, a desperate defense amidst the chaos. A close-up reveals Luca's unmasked face, bloody and gritting his teeth in pain, as his damaged cybernetic vision shatters into fragments around him, yet he presses on, with a critical timer of 0,000-2015s ticking down. The Korite paladin's glowing blue hand clenches into a fist, radiating immense power, signaling another devastating attack is imminent. Luca, in a blur of motion, skillfully deflects another blue energy projectile from the Korite paladin with his activated red energy blade, showcasing his agility and combat prowess. Luca's injured face is a testament to the brutal battle, sweat and blood mixing as he grimaces in pain, yet his eyes hold a flicker of unwavering resolve. Luca experiences a terrifying vision. His wide, glowing blue eye is consumed by a blinding flash, plunging into darkness with the ominous word death appearing, a stark reminder of his mortality. Trapped in an internal monologue, Luca questions, "Am I going to die?" As he bitterly acknowledges, "There is no way I can survive. A fight against that monster for a dozen seconds." Luca is haunted by a vivid memory. A harsh instructor, a tall, shadowy figure with glowing red eyes, reprimands him. "Trainee, you look like a pig that has realized it's going to be mauled in a slaughterhouse." The instructor's face contorts in a fierce snarl, yelling brutal lessons. "Turn your back on the enemy, and all you will receive is a bullet to your head. If the enemy swings their blade..." The chilling Imperial Guard philosophy echoes. We do not need weaklings in the Imperial Guard, a stark reminder of the ruthless standards Luca was forged under. Snapping out of his despair, Luca's face hardens with renewed determination. his blue eyes glowing fiercely as he conquers his fear and resolves to fight. The visible scar on his cheek now symbolizes his unwavering resolve, a stark reminder of past struggles that forged his will. A critical new timer, 000, flashes into view as Luca's feet burst into motion. His hand grips his weapon, a silent declaration of his intent to strike. Before he begins moving, 00, signaling his shift from a desperate defense to a proactive, audacious offensive. Luca charges forward with grim determination, his glowing red energy blade activated, declaring his intent. ILL attack him first, launching a proactive offensive against the Korite paladin. A deadly blue energy spear, shimmering with fragments of light, is swiftly launched by the Korite paladin, hurtling directly towards Luca as a fierce counterattack. Ela Carika and the other masked trainees unleash a barrage of gunfire, their blue energy impacts exploding around the Korite paladin as Ela shouts, "Luca," providing crucial covering fire. The Korite paladin unleashes a multi-pronged assault, featuring a rapidly spinning energy disc and a powerful vertical light beam cutting through the forest, as the timer ominously displays 00527. Luca, unmasked and gasping, "Shoo, you, shoo," stands defiant, his face streaked with grime, blood, and sweat, a testament to his sheer exhaustion and unyielding resolve in the brutal fight. Luca inspects his sparking, damaged cybernetic hand, admitting, "I can't USC my hand anymore," but then adds with a hint of satisfaction, "But I managed to block the spear." Luca, his face grim and bloodied, gazes intently at the imposing Korite paladin who stands by the glowing arcane artifact, acknowledging, "I need to prepare for the next attack," as the timer reads 00751. The Korite paladin stands motionless, its white armor glowing faintly with blue energy, emanating a powerful and static presence, as the timer advances to W08112. The Korite paladin executes a dynamic aerial maneuver, leaping gracefully through the air, leaving trails of blue energy in its wake, signifying a new phase in its relentless assault. Luca's unmasked face registers panic and shock, his eyes wide with alarm, as blue energy flashes around him, forcing him to raise his cybernetic hand in a desperate attempt to defend against the paladin's swift attack. Luca is violently thrown back by an unexpected, powerful blue energy blast, the force of the impact leaving him surprised and pained, as other trainees in the background are also caught off guard by the paladin's cunning maneuver. As Luca struggles, dazed, to look up from the ground, his helmeted face reflecting confusion, the Korite paladin stands over him, its helmeted gaze fixed downwards in an expression of cold, calculated triumph, subtly hinting at a deeper, more sinister plan than mere defeat. Luca, unmasked and in a fit of rage and dawning horror, shouts, "I lay," as he realizes, Heichi wasn't going for me. Understanding the true target of the Korite paladin's cunning attack. The Korite paladin's armored boot slams down with immense force, generating a powerful blue energy shockwave that ripples across the ground as the critical timer ticks on at 001021. The timer ominously progresses, now displaying 00115535, underscoring the relentless passage of time and the escalating intensity of the battle. Luca, seen from behind, braces himself as he faces the Korite paladin, who stands radiating immense blue energy, its raised arm poised for a devastating strike. A close-up captures Luca's wide-eyed, terrified face, covered in sweat and minor cuts, reflecting his visceral reaction to the paladin's overwhelming power. Luca's expression hardens, his eye glowing fiercely with renewed fury, transforming his terror into determined resolve as he prepares to confront the paladin's might. In an incredible display of power, Luca launches himself upwards in a soaring leap, meeting the Korite paladin mid-air amidst a chaotic, burning twilight sky, both figures emanating raw energy. A damaged armored boot, likely Luca's, crashes heavily onto the ground, leaving a visible impact crater, indicating a brutal landing after the aerial confrontation. Luca's cybernetic arm and hand are shown severely damaged, sparking, and with parts missing, a clear testament to the immense toll the fierce battle is taking on his enhancements. Another close-up of Luca's mangled cybernetic hand further emphasizes the critical damage, highlighting his vulnerability and the dire state of his combat capabilities. In a desperate final effort, Luca unleashes a rapid series of explosive energy blasts from his heavily damaged cybernetic arm, creating a chaotic display of light and impact, marking the climax of his counterattack. The battle culminates in a blinding, chaotic explosion of intertwined red and blue energy, engulfing the entire frame as Luca prepares to follow through with a dynamic assault, leaving the outcome hanging in the balance. Luca, cloaked in his red cape, bursts forward in a blur of motion and fiery energy, launching himself into a dynamic assault against the Korite paladin. Luca maintains his incredible speed, his cybernetic eye glowing red as he closes the distance with fierce determination. With relentless momentum, Luca continues his high-speed dash, his red cape billowing behind him as he charges headlong into the confrontation. Luca presses his attack, showcasing his extraordinary acceleration and the raw power of his determined pursuit. Luca's high-speed assault continues, a whirlwind of motion and energy as he closes in on his target with unyielding resolve. Luca, a silhouette against the glowing background, propels himself into an acrobatic leap, confronting the Korite paladin mid-air, a glowing spear caught in the dramatic clash. Luca, in his combat armor, lunges towards the Korite paladin, who retaliates with a glowing sword, setting the stage for an explosive, mid-air collision. Luca's unmasked face screams in a mixture of rage and sheer exertion, locked in an intense, face-to-face confrontation with the Korite paladin's helmeted visage. The Korite paladin delivers a devastating downward blow with its giant, energy-infused fist, aiming to crush Luca, who looks up in defiant anticipation. Luca's face contorts in a grimace of pain and determination, his blue cybernetic eye glowing as he endures the impact of the paladin's powerful attack. Despite suffering a brutal blow, Luca retaliates with a powerful, glowing red punch, delivering a forceful counterattack against the Korite paladin. Luca stands victorious, pinning the defeated Korite paladin to the ground, his glowing red fist poised for a final, decisive strike, signifying the end of their brutal confrontation. The battle rages on with an intense burst of energy as Luca continues his desperate fight against the formidable Force user. Luca delivers a powerful blow, the impact rippling through the air, showcasing his ferocity in close combat. A close-up reveals Luca's high-tech rifle, ready for action, a crucial tool in his fight for survival. With determined resolve, Luca aims his weapon, his armored hands steady, preparing to unleash a volley of attacks. Luca, clad in his battle armor and red cape, propels himself through the air with powerful energy bursts from his feet, launching an aggressive counterattack. A mysterious glowing structure, adorned with intricate circuit-like patterns, stands embedded in the battle-scarred ground. Luca, in his full combat gear, stands firm, his red cape billowing and his cybernetic eyes glowing intensely red with unwavering determination. Another explosive discharge of energy illuminates the chaotic battlefield, highlighting the brutal intensity of the ongoing fight. Luca looks towards a distant, towering structure that emits an eerie purple glow, its circuit patterns hinting at advanced technology, as the reddish sky casts a grim atmosphere over the scene. Luca's face is etched with exhaustion and relief, sweat dripping from his brow, a stark reflection of his harrowing ordeal and the sudden appearance of salvation. The battle-torn forest stands under a dramatic reddish sky, its trees silhouetted against the fading light, setting a desolate backdrop for the climax. But then, an immense presence disrupts the scene. Emerging from a cloud of smoke and debris, a massive, heavily armored figure with menacing, glowing red eyes, a member of the Imperial Guard, makes its dramatic entrance, ready to intervene, casting a long shadow over Luca's desperate struggle. The formidable Imperial Guard, a towering figure in dark armor, stands ready, its glowing red eyes fixated on the enemy, a red laser sight indicating its target. From a low angle, the Imperial Guard looms large, exuding an aura of immense power as smoke continues to dissipate around its massive form. A close-up reveals the chilling intensity of the Imperial Guard's helmet, its red glowing eyes radiating a cold, unyielding resolve. Luca, battered and on the verge of collapse, cries out in profound relief, realizing he has been saved from certain death by the timely arrival of the Imperial Guard. With its red cape majestically flowing against the reddish sky, the Imperial Guard stands as a symbol of power and rescue, having intervened at Luca's most desperate moment. The Imperial Guard confronts the Korite Force user, a sleek figure in white armor holding a staff, setting the stage for a new, epic clash. Red energy pulses around the Imperial Guard, signifying its readiness to engage and unleash its formidable strength in the impending battle. The Korite Force user, encased in a sleek white helmet now visibly cracked, is surrounded by a faint blue glow, reflecting either its unique power or the strain of the intense confrontation.